Hey guys, welcome back everybody. So we have seen that how to configure the IBGP direct neighborship within the same broadcast domain, same autonomous system number. Here we're going to talk about how to configure the IBGP indirect neighborship. Indirect means what? Between the two different broadcast domain, or we can also call this guy as a multi-hop session. Right? This word sometimes this is the fancy word. The sometimes in the production network what happened, you guys seen that, right? Multi-hop session. So indirect neighborship, or we can call it a multi-hop session. So if you see that, so same topology we have. So we have a loopback over here is a 1.0.0/8, and we have a loopback 2.0.0/8 network, right? And I'm gonna form the neighborship between this guy to this guy, not the direct now. So same autonomous system number 1000 we have. This is the Airtel company. I already have a pre-configuration of the IP addressing, right? 12.1 is my router 1, and I have a loopback over here on data number 2 as well. So IP interface brief, I have a 12.2, and this is my loopback 2.2.2 right now. What I can do that, this is my indirect neighborship, we have it. I'll better to configure on the notepad, router BGP number 1000. BGP router ID will be 10101. And I'm gonna form, right, router 1 is gonna form the neighborship with the 2.2.2.2, which belongs to the same autonomous system number. Same thing, right? If you remember that the in eBGP indirect neighborship, we have seen that. So whenever I'm gonna send the update packet, right? When I'm gonna send the any packet from the router number 1 to the router number 2, I'll make sure that the source will be 101 and destination will be 2.2.2. By default, the source will be the exit interface. So if I'm not gonna define the source will be this guy. So what we have to do that we need to modify the source. We need to tell this guy, hey, listen, when I'm going to send any packet to the 2.2.2, the source should not be the 12.1. The source should be the loopback number 1. That's eventually a 1.1.1 IP address, right? That's all. The interesting part, if you compare with the eBGP protocol, in eBGP, we need to define the multi-hop session, right? Sorry, multi-hop TTL, because the by default, the eBGP TTL is 1. But in case of IBGP protocol, IBGP, the default TTL is set to the 255. So we don't need to require this command, right? So if you remember that in eBGP protocol, we need to put this command, right? eBGP multi-hop. What's the command then? I think so it's a TTL, I think. Sorry, it's a multi-hop, right? So we need to give this command line. But here we don't need to give this command line because by default, the TTL value for the IBGP protocol is 255. So that's all. This is the enough command for the IBGP indirect neighborship. Same thing for this guy as well. On the router number 1, we just need to modify the IP address because router 2 is going to form the neighborship with this guy. And here we go. I need to modify the router ID as well. That's all. So if you see on router number 1, right, let's put this command. It's a mistake over here. It's ROUTR, router ID and router ID. That's all. Hit this command line, and same thing over here as well on router 2. All good. So if you see that router BGP number 100, right, neighbor 101, we have to put this command, right, eBGP multi-hop. It's not required in the IBGP protocol because of the default TTL is 255 now. Last but not least, right, we need to give the reachability between the loopback to loopback, because if you see the do show IP route, I'm forming the neighborship with the 101. Do I have a route for the 101 right now? No. So BGP needs reachability, right? Not only the reachability, also we need a same route in the routing table. I'll make a one video on this part, right? And then maybe in the next video we'll make on this part. BGP not only requires the reachability, it's also requires the same routes to be available in the routing table as well. So now I need to give the static route, or I can, let's do one thing, let's run the EIGRP protocol. Better to run the static, because in the last video in the eBGP indirect neighborship we have configured the static route. Here I will go with the EIGRP protocol. I say the network 10.1.12.0, right, and network 1.0. So eventually what happened, I should have a reachability. So in big production network, what happened when you have a multiple BGP routers, you do configure the any IGP protocol like OSPF and ISS protocol. In big service provider network, you never encounter the EIGRP protocol and the 2.0 as well. So now let's copy this guy. So if you see that my BGP is not up right now, you can have a put the command. It's in the ideal state. I'll put this command on the router number 1 and on the router number 2 as well. So once I give the EIGRP command line, my EIGRP neighbor will be up, and simultaneously what happened, it's like a piggybacking. My BGP is also up, right? You can see that. So BGP is summary now. I have my neighbor is up right now, and you can also have a look over here, the detailed information. So IP BGP neighbor 101, and we can see that my neighbor is an internal link right now. So that's how you can, this is the complete command line for the IBGP indirect neighborship. Now you can see the one thing right now. You can go down. I'll show you the interesting part of this guy. Come on. Can you see that this TTL right now, the outgoing TTL is 255. That's a default set for the IBGP protocol. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you in the next video.